A mystery figure was seen leading a group of attackers assaulting Switchblade Jay White backstage at the conclusion of AEW Dynamite this week, heading into WrestleDream this weekend. This has led to a fever pitch of speculation, gossip, and online detectives trying to figure out the identity of the mystery assailants. The biggest question of all, though, is who was the figure wearing the devil mask? Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling, and I'm going to do something a little bit different today because one of the biggest stories right now in the world of professional wrestling is the identity of the person wearing the devil mask. Who is the person that was wearing the mask and leading the villainous group attacking Switchblade Jay White at the conclusion of AEW Dynamite this week? So what we're going to do in this video is go through some of the rumored suspects and give you the opportunity to form your own opinion and your own conclusion as to who the person is that you can see on the screen right now that was wearing the devil mask. If you're not familiar, this week's episode of AEW Dynamite ended, as I mentioned, with Switchblade Jay White, the leader of Bullet Club Gold, being attacked backstage by a villainous, mysterious faction. Now, everyone that was attacking Switchblade Jay White was dressed up in black with their faces covered. So we don't actually know any of the participants who actually attacked the leader of Bullet Club Gold. But then after the attack, we saw what we can see on the screen right now, which is this mysterious figure wearing this devil mask look into the camera before shoving it away, and that was the end of the broadcast on TBS. Now, many people have thought, well, who could this be? Obviously, Jay White did confront AEW World Champion MJF on AEW Dynamite this week, so it's led to quite a lot of discussion, thought and debate as to who the person could be. So we're going to go through all of the suspects. We're going to try and figure out who this person is, and you're going to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, your predictions, what you think of some of the people that have been rumored, and where you think this storyline is going. So let's start off talking with the most obvious choice. That would be the AEW World Champion himself, MJF. Now, the reason this one is the most obvious choice is because it's MJF's mask. MJF debuted the mask last year at AEW All Out. When he returned to All Elite Wrestling, of course, he would debut the mask certainly, in the Casino ladder match, which of course he would win, coming out to the Rolling Stones' Sympathy for the Devil. You can see him wearing the mask right there, and it's been associated with him ever since. He's worn it multiple times. He's called himself the Devil. He refers to his fans as devil worshippers. So many people are suggesting, well, of course, it would make sense. MJF was confronted by Switchblade Jay White at the beginning of the show. Therefore, if Jay White was attacked by a group of mysterious figures, mysterious men, with someone that was wearing the devil mask, it's a bit like what happened at All Out last year when this mysterious group, you can see it on the screen right there behind MJF, wearing the devil mask, was later known as The Firm, the likes of Big Bill, The Guns, etc. So it could just be MJF, right? It could be The Firm getting back together. That would make sense, wouldn't it? But the problem is, as you can see on the screen right there, is that the body type is kind of different. The body type doesn't look like MJF. In fact, the person that was wearing the devil mask, and you can actually see right there, the body type, it's much slimmer, it's much smaller than MJF wearing that devil mask. So many people are suggesting that maybe it's not MJF, maybe it's someone that has stolen his mask. Nevertheless, the fact that it is MJF's mask, it's the fact that MJF has referred to himself as the devil, and he's worn it multiple times, it would lead him to be the prime suspect. But is that what people are wanting us to think? Do people want us to think that it was MJF who was wearing the mask and orchestrated the attack? Is it him, or has he been framed? Let me know your thoughts about that. So if it's not MJF, if this is a swerve and someone has indeed stolen the mask of the AEW World Champion, who could it be? Well, many people are thinking it's Adam Cole. Now, again, this would make more sense considering that, again, Adam Cole is MJF's best friend. He would have access to the mask, and many people throughout the entirety of Adam Cole and MJF's storyline is Better Than You, Baby, and becoming unlikely friends, turning into best friends, and Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. Many are just waiting. They're waiting for either Adam Cole to turn on MJF or MJF to turn on Adam Cole. Many are assuming that Adam Cole is not happy with the fact that he hasn't been able to win the AEW World Championship. He's not happy that he couldn't defeat MJF in the main event of AEW All In at London's Wembley Stadium, and he's just biding his time. He's just waiting to turn on his best friend, because let's face it, Adam Cole's got a career of turning on his friends, going back to the likes of the Undisputed Era in NXT, and throughout other parts of his career as well, he's turned his back on multiple people and multiple close friends. In fact, Adam Cole kind of subscribes to the theory that keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. In fact, it would also make sense, considering that several people are suggesting that the people that were actively attacking Switchblade Jay White backstage kind of looked a bit like Roderick Strong and also looked like the Kingdom, of course, people that Adam Cole has history with, and also he has been somewhat affiliated with in recent weeks, despite the fact that there appears to be tension between everyone due to the fact that Adam Cole is spending more time with MJF as opposed to his old friends. So it would make sense when it comes to that. But also, it looks like maybe AEW has also teased this in the past, that indeed Adam Cole has maybe been using MJF's mask without people knowing. You can see, first of all, a bit of a problem with this theory, which is Adam Cole currently has a broken ankle, according to reports and according to Adam Cole himself. He appeared on AEW Dynamite this week and he stated that he suffered a broken ankle, he requires surgery, he's going to be out of action for a long period of time. Many people doubted this, many people didn't believe this. Nevertheless, we've had the likes of Sean Ross Sapp, Dave Meltzer and others suggest that indeed this is legitimate. Adam Cole legitimately does require surgery. He broke his ankle after a freak accident, which at the Dynamite Grand Slam event at Arthur Ashe Stadium in Queens, New York, he jumped off that elevated stage, rolled his ankle, broke his ankle, and does require surgery. However, given the conclusion of Dynamite this week, some are suggesting that actually, could this just be a sprain? Could it just be a bad sprain that suddenly AEW and Adam Cole and MJF have decided to turn into a storyline and work everyone not only in the crowd but also in the back? Because it has been reported by Sean Ross Sapp that backstage Adam Cole has been seen using crutches, he has been seen wearing that cast on his foot as well. So not only would he be working the audience, he'd be working the boys and girls in the back, and this would be a very closely guarded secret. Nevertheless, AEW has teased in the past that Adam Cole could have access to MJF's mask. You can see it right here. This is the screenshot that people keep pointing to. This was after AEW All In, and they filmed a backstage segment at London's Wembley Stadium where you can see it, whereby you have MJF sitting on the right-hand side, Adam Cole sitting on the left-hand side, but what's just above Adam Cole there? Just above him is MJF's mask. Now, is this long-term storytelling by AEW? Is this an Easter egg to suggest that actually the devil is always lurking over Adam Cole's shoulder as opposed to MJF's? And could Adam Cole be the one that indeed wore the devil mask? The devil didn't really get physically involved in this assault of Jay White backstage at Dynamite this week. So maybe, again, it's a case of being able to stand up with Adam Cole, someone that actually didn't have a broken ankle, maybe just a sprained ankle, didn't get physically involved, and then he filmed the closing part of that backstage segment. Some people are also suggesting, too, that the body type that I mentioned previously does look a lot more like Adam Cole as opposed to MJF. So is Adam Cole a possibility? Is he a suspect? And is all of this just a big work and a big swerve? And is this how we're going to have Adam Cole reveal himself to be the true heel mastermind throughout all of this? Because you have to look at the logic and the story behind this. What's the motive here from Adam Cole? Well, the motive certainly could be that Adam Cole might legitimately have an ankle injury. That might mean that he is not the person who is next in line for an AEW World Championship shot. It looked like Jay White might be the person set to face MJF next. And Adam Cole wants to make sure that the person to take the AEW World Championship is himself when he's actually medically cleared to do so. So with Jay White seemingly jumping to the front of the line and challenging MJF, Adam Cole made sure, no, I have to take out Jay White to ensure he can't win the AEW World Championship. I do when I'm medically cleared to do so. So many people pointing that they think Adam Cole is the prime suspect here. But what about some other suspects? Now, some people would say, what about Adam Edge Copeland? Now, why would the WWE Hall of Famer be the person behind the mask? Lots of people pointing out straight away saying, well, the body type doesn't fit. The body type doesn't fit. Edge is like 6'3", 6'4", and he's much of a broader body type than the person wearing the mask. Now, this is when you go into what I call the Black Scorpion element of this. Now, if you're not familiar, the Black Scorpion was a gimmick that WCW did way back when, where actually it was meant to be revealed as one person, multiple people ended up wearing the mask. Eventually, it was revealed as Ric Flair. It was someone from Sting's past that was hunting him down and trying to take the WCW World Championship from him. In the end, it was Ric Flair. It wasn't actually originally intended to be Ric Flair, but nobody knew who was actually originally intended to be, so it just ended up being being Flair anyway. My point being is that just because the person that actually filmed the segment backstage on Wednesday doesn't look like Edge doesn't mean it's not him, because they might have a situation whereby in order to not give away the identity, in order to not spoil the surprise, they just said to someone, hey, you wear the mask, you do the segment, and it's actually going to be someone else. That other person indeed could be Edge. We do know that tomorrow, September 30th, Edge's contract with WWE expires. As of right now, at the time of recording this video, he has not signed a new WWE contract. In fact, he has been removed from the internal WWE roster. Not the first time we've heard that. A couple of weeks ago, reports came out and suggested that Edge had been removed from the internal WWE roster, but then he was added back to the internal roster under a miscellaneous section, which featured the likes of The Undertaker, Big E, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and others. Basically, people that either didn't wrestle or weren't assigned to a brand or didn't appear on WWE television regularly, so they weren't sure about Edge's status at the time. Edge wrestled the last match on his current WWE contract back in August against Sheamus in his hometown of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It very much felt like a signing off for Edge, not in terms of his professional wrestling career, but more so of his WWE career. There were reports that maybe he was asking for too much money. WWE weren't willing to give it. He kind of dispelled that on a social media post and said that he had a WWE contract extension waiting in his inbox, but he just wasn't sure what he was going to do next. Other reports have now suggested that Edge is closer to joining All Elite Wrestling than ever. He was in talks with AEW prior to his WWE return back in 2020. In fact, conversations he had with Tony Khan about making an in-ring return actually really got the ball rolling for a WWE in-ring return as well. Some are suggesting too that Edge realizes he probably has maybe about a year or so left of an in-ring portion of his professional wrestling career and that maybe he might want to end his career on his terms against his best friend Christian Cage, who has just signed a new long-term deal with AEW. Therefore, he might come in to All Elite Wrestling, and therefore he might want to end his career with his best friend. Now, it wouldn't be the first time as well that we've seen Edge lead a villainous faction. We saw him try to do that with the Judgment Day in WWE. Didn't really work out, and eventually they pivoted to removing him as the leader of that faction and putting Finn Balor in instead. So it's entirely possible that certainly he could sign with AEW. Once we get to October 1st, which is Sunday, which is Wrestle Dream, Edge would be a free agent. He would be free to sign with AEW and could make his debut at that event and could reveal himself to be the man behind the mask. The question is why? What's the motive here? And the answer is we don't really know. And sometimes in pro wrestling, it's not always about things making sense, but certainly several people expect Edge to arrive in AEW fairly soon. So could Edge be the person? He is the ultimate opportunist. He is the rated R superstar. He's made a career known of doing devilish acts. Could he be the person that wore the devil mask, even though it wouldn't have made a ton of sense, and actually he wouldn't have been legally cleared to actually appear on Dynamite at the time on Wednesday? So from that point of view, it wouldn't make sense, but a lot of things in pro wrestling don't make sense. So maybe Edge is someone that could be considered. Now, who's to say that the person actually wearing the devil mask was male at all? Some people are saying that the physique there is so slim that in fact it could be a woman that was wearing the mask, and could that woman be none other than former IWGP Women's Champion, former Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion, Mercedes Monet. This is a fascinating one because Mercedes Monet, we know, obviously, we last saw her compete for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship to become the first champion. She was meant to win that championship. In the match, she hurt her ankle, reportedly broke her ankle, and they had to do an audible. They had to pivot, and Willow Nightingale, an AEW star, won that match. Now, it was rumored at the time that she was in talks with AEW and most likely was going to appear at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view representing New Japan Pro Wrestling. Of course, the injury scrapped all of that, but what we did see was Mercedes Monet appear at the AEW All-In pay-per-view sitting in the crowd. In fact, they actually showed her at several points on camera and talked about her being a 7-time women's champion, and Tony Khan was asked lots of questions about that, saying that she wasn't cleared at the moment. They wanted to work with her in the future. They were interested in working with her in the future. He wanted to bring her in to show what Wembley Stadium looked like and attend history, etc., etc., etc. So lots of people are suggesting, well, she could be cleared to return fairly soon, couldn't she? And maybe she could be involved in this Somehow, some way, she does have ties with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Jay White, a former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, former leader of Bullet Club in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Could Mercedes Monet be involved in that? It would be a bit of a curveball, and honestly, it would make a ton of sense. But Mercedes Monet is a big deal, and certainly her being involved in AEW is going to create a lot of buzz anyway. Wrestle Dream this weekend is heavily influenced by New Japan Pro Wrestling. Of course, it's meant to be a pay-per-view that's paying tribute to the late Antonio Inoki, 1 year to the day of his passing. Of course, Antonio Inoki, the founder of New Japan. So possibly, perhaps, Monet could be that person. Would AEW throw a curveball? Instead, actually, you all thought it was going to be a man. Instead, it's a woman. Instead, it's Mercedes Monet. Is that indeed possible? Now, I speak about New Japan Pro Wrestling because this might be something that people maybe haven't thought about that much. And what if we're looking at this the wrong way? What if we're looking at this going, it's got something to do with MJF, it's got something to do with Adam Cole, it's got something to do with Roderick Strong and the Kingdom, it's involved with the AEW World Championship. What if it has nothing to do with the AEW World Championship? What if it has nothing to do with Adam Cole or MJF altogether? What, in fact, if it has to do with the person that was attacked? That was Jay White. And that is the fact that Jay White is the leader of Bullet Club Gold, but there's another Bullet Club faction, Bullet Club War Dogs, in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and the leader of the OG Bullet Club, of course he wasn't the original leader, but certainly is the leader of the faction in Japan, David Finley. Now this one could have legs because when Jay White left New Japan Pro Wrestling earlier on this year at Battle in the Valley after he lost a match against Eddie Kingston in a loser leaves New Japan Pro Wrestling bout, quickly afterwards when Jay White was about to address his departure from New Japan, he was attacked by David Finley. Since then, Finley has gone on to lead the Bullet Club in New Japan Pro Wrestling, many people feeling that he's given it actually a bit of a resurgence. Obviously, as I mentioned, talking about Bullet Club War Dogs as well, and actually recently he is teased quite often, suggesting that he doesn't recognize Bullet Club Gold as an official affiliate of Bullet Club. You've got actual representatives of Bullet Clubs in a lot of different promotions and companies. Impact Wrestling is an example of that with Chris Bay and Ace Austin, but he doesn't recognize Bullet Club Gold actually as an affiliate, as a branch, as an arm of Bullet Club in the United States. Therefore, again, are we looking at this the wrong way? Could it be a situation where actually what we're about to see is akin to a Bullet Club civil war between New Japan Pro Wrestling's Japan-based Bullet Club War Dogs and actually Bullet Club Gold, which again is not an authorized spin-off of Bullet Club at all? Could David Finley be the one to say, actually, I've had enough of you trying to pass yourself off as anything to do with Bullet Club. You used to be the leader. You're not the leader anymore. I'm the new leader of Bullet Club, and this is my faction, and I'm going to make sure that this stops once and for all. As I mentioned, we do know the influence that Wrestle Dream is going to have with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Several New Japan stars are going to be there. We do know that this is a tribute of sorts to Antonio Inoki, the founder of New Japan, so could actually one of the biggest stories going in and coming out of Wrestle Dream be the beginning of a Bullet Club civil war between one, an officially recognized Bullet Club faction, and another Bullet Club faction that's not officially recognized in Bullet Club Gold. Let me know your thoughts if indeed that is possible. Now, what we're getting into now is kind of the predictions and thoughts that are put out there that maybe don't make the most sense, but indeed are possible. What about Jack Perry? Now, we haven't seen Jack Perry since AEW All In. Now, it's not a case we haven't seen him because he lost the FTW Championship at that event, which he did to Hook at the 0 Hour pre-show. We haven't seen him because he's been suspended, of course. He's been in the eye of the storm when it comes to the fallout and when it comes to actually the incident that led to the firing of CM Punk. What happened was, of course, he had that match against Hook at AEW All In during the 0 Hour pre-show. He went into the camera after doing a spot on glass, said it's real glass, cry me a river, what have you. This led to a backstage altercation involving himself and CM Punk, which, depending on who you believe, punches were thrown, chokes happened. CM Punk allegedly lunged at the AEW president, Tony Khan. It led to, obviously, Tony Khan and AEW firing CM Punk, with cause terminating both his contracts with the company. We know that Jack Perry has been suspended throughout the entirety of this process, but he hasn't been fired. So it's led to many wondering, when is he going to be back? When is he going to be back with All Elite Wrestling? Could this be an instance whereby AEW is trying to capitalize on his notoriety and get him involved in some kind of big hot storyline? The problem is why? What's the motive? Why would he attack Jay White? Why would he have a villainous faction around him? Why would that make sense? It doesn't really make sense, but several people are suggesting that as I mentioned, the build of the person wearing that mask maybe does look quite similar to Jack Perry, perhaps, and maybe that's what people are going with, and maybe people are just wondering, if he's going to come back, he's got to do something, right? And they've got to capitalize on the heat that he has. So maybe that's what they're kind of looking at, perhaps. But this one might be a bit of a stretch. And as I said, we haven't heard anything about Jack Perry's status in quite some time. Now, let's go back to the theory that why does the person wearing the mask have to actually be a male? What if it's not Adam Cole, because Adam Cole is injured and has this broken ankle, but wants to ensure that he is the one to take the AEW World Championship away from MJF and not Jay White? What if those mysterious assailants were in fact Roderick Strong, were in fact the Kingdom, but it couldn't be Adam Cole because he's not actually physically well enough to stand up and lead that attack? What if it was someone that was very close to Adam Cole? What if, in fact, and this might be a stretch, what if it was Brit Baker? Now, the reason I say this is because Brit Baker has gone onto social media to insist that Adam Cole is legitimately hurt. She posted a picture of Adam Cole's ankle, posted him getting his ankle and leg wrapped, posted an x-ray of Adam Cole's ankle as well, saying, quote, "This guy broke his ankle in 3 places on a freak accident. He still hobbled around on live TV because, as we like to say, the show must go on. Adam Cole gives his entire heart and soul to pro wrestling. He's one tough cookie, and this is just a small bump on the road. He'll be back better than ever, baby." Now, some would say, is this just a loving partner trying to support her partner during a difficult time and a frustrating time through injury? Or is she trying to swerve the entire audience? This is pro wrestling after all. Everything is a work, right? Is Brit Baker trying to throw people off the scent and really convince people that indeed Adam Cole is injured? And in fact, was Brit Baker the one that was wearing the mask? Of course, Adam Cole does have access to the mask. Therefore, he could give it to Brit Baker. And therefore, as I mentioned, it's quite a slim person wearing that mask in the first place. Indeed, could that even be Brit Baker? Maybe so, maybe not. And finally, the person who maybe it could be, even though this one it's not, but people might point out, what about CM Punk? Is it CM Punk? Look, you never know in pro wrestling, you never know, but CM Punk has been officially fired by AEW, unless it was all some grand work. Instead, it just CM Punk was suspended by AEW and he wasn't fired in the first place and all that kind of stuff. It would be one of the biggest swerves in pro wrestling history, but I don't think this is the case. But until you see CM Punk show up on another program that isn't AEW, anything certainly is possible, but this one feels a bit unlikely, doesn't it? So there you go, guys. That's some of the suspects. Who do you think was wearing the devil mask? Do you think it's any of the people we mentioned? Do you think it's MJF? Do you think it's Adam Cole? Do you think it's Edge, Mercedes Monet, David Finley, Jack Perry, Brit Baker, CM Punk, or do you think it's somebody else? Let me know your thoughts, your predictions, your thoughts on my theories. Let me know all of it in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.